Yell at the camera. You're mad at the camera. Go.
Why am I mad at the camera?
You just want to yell at the camera.
But he quoted me. Bitch, I'm famous.
What's up? Welcome to Just Offside, the weekly MLS show where we take your comments and talk about them. My name is Louie.
And I'm Mikey.
And before we jump into this week's action, let's go over what you guys had to say last week.
Our guy, Lil Bronco, a.k.a. Lil Bronco, says, best MLS show on YouTube, no cap.
Hey.
That's facts.
Joe Barton asks, y'all still put the podcast on Spotify, right? Yes, we put the podcast out every week. Last week it was just delayed a little bit, but this week's episode is live right now, so check out the link in the description if you want to check that out.
And my bruv, Sebastian Gomez, says, has it been 2 weeks already? Yeah, man, it was 2 weeks.
And we're sorry. We missed you guys.
I missed you, dude. Pity just needs more time. The pressure from the fans and the team must be killing him. I don't know if I agree with that.
I feel like he must have has to deal with a lot bigger pressure when he was in Argentina. I feel like, of course...
Did anyone not see the Super Classico, like the build up to it? Like, bruh, they literally threw rocks through a bus.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it must be difficult, though. You're on top of the world, you're the best player in South America, and then you come to the MLS and expect a lot of things to happen, and none of those things happen, and so it must be frustrating, but our boy Brad Jr. 10 says, welcome back from the dead, guys. Atlanta United got 2 wins since you left, and I'm starting to see a trend here. You know what, Brad? We are back now, and they got another win, so no, we are not Atlanta's fault, okay? Stop trying to blame everything on other people and look inwardly.
This guy started conspiracy theories, you guys. And our friend DCU TV says, the East is literally DC United, and the rest of it is trash.
Smiley face.
Hell yeah, brother.
But alrighty, guys, that's your comments from last week. If you want to get featured in next week's episode and help drive the conversation, leave your comment down below for anything that we talk about in this episode, and we'll feature you in next week's episode. Since the MLS has been jam-packing its schedule with a bunch of midweek games, we figured we would do rapid-fire predictions for this upcoming week's action before we go into our review from this past week's action.
And the first game we got going tonight is Atlanta United hosting Toronto FC. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
I say 3-1 Toronto.
Columbus Crew versus LA Galaxy. I think that'll be a 3-1 Galaxy win.
I think it'll be a 4-1 Galaxy win.
Chicago Fire versus the Rebs.
I predict both teams lose.
5-0 Chicago.
Both teams are garbage. Can we just pretend this game doesn't happen?
New York Red Bulls versus Montreal Impact. 2-1 Red Bull.
I think Montreal gets a sneaky 3-1 win.
The Whitecaps versus the Timbers.
I say Timbers with a 3-1 win.
Timbers 5-1 win. And this week, New York Red Bull hosted Zlatan Ibrahimovic and 10 dudes in what was an exciting match.
And despite the Red Bull not being in the greatest run of form, they were able to spoil everybody's afternoon that went to Red Bull Arena to watch Zlatan. But Mikey, before we get into the action, I don't know if you saw this. This thing was absolutely heinous to me. There was a guy that went viral on Twitter, I believe, for getting a New York Red Bull jersey with Zlatan's name on the back and went to this game.
That's fire.
Is it? Because I find it to be that is the epitome of what is wrong with modern soccer. Like, you're going to Red Bull Arena, you have a Red Bull jersey to support a dude from another team. I get it. It's Zlatan. I just find it ridiculous because there was a bunch of other, there was a group of other dudes who went to the game and just had big ass posters for Zlatan. And they're in, and it's just like, bro, I get it. You know, the MLS is like a star-driven league, but it's a big insult to the Red Bull if you buy a Red Bull jersey and put Zlatan's name on it. That was probably the most people Red Bull Arena has seen this year yet. And it's like, this was a team that won the Supporter Shield. This is one of the best teams in the MLS last year, yet you can only bring people to your stadium because of Zlatan. There's something wrong. Like, I get it. He's really good. He brings and he did perform this game, but there's something just seems very wrong about this for me.
For sure. 100%.
But let me know, guys, am I being too critical? Am I overthinking this? Is it fine to just be supporting dudes from other teams? I don't know. It seems weird to me.
But hey, Zlatan did give the people what they wanted. He walked away with a goal and assist. But the Red Bull ended up winning 3-2, and he went home the loser.
Luis Robles in that Red Bull goal was a monster. He made a bunch of crucial saves down late to make sure that the Red Bull would walk away the victors. This was a much-needed win for this Red Bull side as they're looking to pick their season back up and potentially achieve those Supporter Shield heights again. And look, we know the Red Bull have a good squad. We saw it last year. Could this win be the turning point for their season?
And with his goal over the weekend, Zlatan brought his tally up to 9 goals on the season. And now, Galaxy fans, how many goals do you guys think Zlatan's going to end out with? Do you think he'll break Joseph Martinez's record? As our friend Brad Jr. mentioned, while we were away for the 2 weeks, Atlanta had picked up 2 wins while we were gone, 2 in the last 3 games. And they were going up against a very, very injured Sporting Kansas City team who hasn't won a game in the last 4 matches.
And Ezequiel Barco stepped up and provided that midfield spark for Atlanta that they had been missing since Almiron left, when his deflected shot just landed perfectly for Josef Martinez to bury it home. And he followed that up with his own phenomenal goal. After the ball fell to him, he touched it open and just sent a beautiful shot into the lower left corner of Temilia's goal to give himself a goal and an assist, and he followed it up and capped off a man of the match performance with a really good assist to Josef Martinez to make it 3-0 Atlanta. With that goal, Ezequiel Barco brings his total for the 2019 season to 4 goals and quite a few assists, which is way more than he had last year. Since Almiron left for Newcastle United, someone needed to step up in Atlanta's lineup, and they thought it was going to be Pity Martinez because they bought him to replace Almiron, but lucky for them, they had Barco on the team, who seems to be finally getting his feet under him in Atlanta and has really picked it up this season.
Do you know where Ezequiel Barco is going?
U20 World Cup for Argentina.
He's not 20?
No, he was 18 last year.
What?
And honestly, just what an incredible turnaround. It looked like Barco was going to be a big-time flop for Atlanta, but he seems to really have picked it back up and gotten himself and his feet under him and has been playing phenomenally. But unfortunately for Atlanta, just as he is starting to integrate with this team and provide that spark and they get 3 wins in a row, he has to go away to the U20 World Cup because, you know, nothing good can really happen for Atlanta this season. Every silver lining has some kind of caveat attached to it, apparently. But Atlanta United supporters, how big of an impact will Barco's absence have on this Atlanta team? Can the team weather these next couple weeks without him? How happy have you guys been to see his resurgence on the field?
And moving along to our next game, the Houston Dynamo hosted FC Dallas in what was a tight and exciting game.
You mean the first Texas Derby of 2019? Yeehaw!
Hell yeah, brother. Even though it was a super tight game and super exciting to watch. And now ask me if someone was there to watch it.
Was anyone there to watch it?
Fuck no. It's soccer in Texas.
This game was really entertaining. It was hotly contested and both teams were really going for it.
But man, did you see Houston's second goal? That is literal counter-attacking perfection. Down to a T, no misplaced passes, all the way along. They switched the play, they switched it back, they switched it again, and then they came through and scored.
Boom! FC Dallas thought they had tied the game up late, but the ref called the play back and Houston would end up 2-1 victors on the day and now finds itself in 3rd place in the West. Pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting. And let us know, guys, do you guys think that was the right call by the ref to end the game like that? Was it a foul? Was it not a foul? Let us know. And for our next game, DC United hosted the Columbus Crew for another rematch of a game that happened a week and a half ago. The MLS schedule keeps getting better and better.
And Columbus started the game off hot, looking like they might change their fortunes after coming off of a 3-game losing streak. And they were able to actually score.
And yeah, the Columbus Crew scored, and the ref decided to collide with Lucho Acosta and another player from the Crew, which led to a Columbus Crew goal. And the assistant ref came out and was like, okay, man, what was that? Please go to VAR. And they ultimately ended up going to VAR.
And the weirdest thing happened after it. Ref takes a look at it, says that Columbus committed a foul even though everybody saw that he was the one who took Lucho Acosta out of the game, which gave Columbus the opportunity to send the ball forward to score. And he claimed that Columbus committed the foul, and then that way that Columbus goal should be disallowed. So basically, he messes up the game, blames Columbus for committing a foul, and then that way he can overturn their goal and save his ass from any blame.
And now, guys, tell me what kind of fucking call that was, because that is absolute horseshit. You're going to look at me after you bump into one of the players and we're like, nah, y'all can't have that goal.
That whole little episode seemed to really deflate Columbus, especially with 2 minutes later, DC was able to score and really build up from there. DC looked like they dominated much of the rest of the game. Wayne Rooney got on the score sheet and Paul Arriola got on the score sheet to go along with Lucho Acosta's goal to open up the scoring.
And this was a great showing for DC United, who hadn't got a goal at home
in like 3 or something games.
So they got 3 of them. Good for you guys. And going from one of the best teams in the East to the worst fucking team in the MLS, The Revs played the Philadelphia Union, and the Revs weren't content with letting up 4 goals last week, and they wanted to see how many more goals can get scored on them. And let me tell you, Philly pumped them for 6. You heard me right, I said 6.
Quite frankly, front office doesn't care. Brad Friedel doesn't really have much to work with his players. Plus, the jury's still out of whether or not he's even a good coach at all. All of these players probably regret moving to New England to play soccer and having to play for the Revs. There's no soccer structure here in New England. And honestly, less and less people care with every passing day. I've seen a bunch of the Revs season ticket supporters canceling their tickets over the last 2 weeks over this bullshit that's going on in New England. And you know what? No one gives a shit. So why do we care? Why should anyone care?
So from here on out, guys, we're not covering the Revs anymore as they're not in the MLS.
We're just not gonna. They're gonna be no name, no more names. The Revs don't exist anymore.
It was nice knowing you guys.
Bye bye.
Kind of like we're Iron Man in the first Avengers Infinity War, and you're Spider-Man, and you don't feel so good.
Philly remained tied with DC United at the top of the Eastern Conference standings, while this fucking team sinks down to last place. And this begs the question, was Mikey correct when he said that the East is DC United and the rest is trash? Is Philly kind of breaking that? Or is Mikey correct?
I'm correct.
My one argument is that the Revs play in the Eastern Conference, and that should tell you a lot about the state of the conference. And what do we have here? San Jose sneaking into the playoffs? What are you doing here, San Jose? Shoo! You don't know, you don't belong here. Get out of here. No, but seriously, what a turnaround for San Jose. They find themselves in the last playoff spot in the West, and they have only lost 1 game in the last 6. So they've been picking up points away from home and really changing their fortunes for this season.
And San Jose walked away with the 3 points, and as a result, FC Cincinnati has fired their coach in a bold move, I'd like to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird that they hired this guy to lead them into their first season of the MLS, and not even like a third of the way into the season, they're already cutting him. I don't know, guys. Was that the right move for FC Cincinnati? They did claim that the culture had shifted recently and that the locker room culture wasn't great. Was this move to the MLS what shifted this dynamic? Because it seemed like last year FC Cincy had so much support. The front office was good. The culture in that locker room was good back when they were playing in the USL. But now that it seems like when they've come up to MLS, things have kind of shifted a little bit. I don't know, guys. Was it the right call firing the manager? Let me know what you think. Our next game takes us north of the border to Canada, where New York City beat Montreal 2-0 in a full house for Montreal, who had a bunch of people there supporting them, which was really good to see. But unfortunately, despite the fact that they had been pretty hot coming into this game, Montreal did lose 2-0 to New York City.
For our other Canadian club, they went down south to Florida to play Orlando City, and they ended up snatching up all 3 of the points with a 2-0 win over Orlando City. And with the win, they're on to 5 wins now on their season, pushing them up the Eastern Conference table.
And despite the loss, Orlando still finds itself in that last playoff spot in the East. So it's progress, I think, for them.
Imagine being able to lose and still be in a playoff spot.
East is trash.
Real Salt Lake hosted the Portland Timbers, and Portland's coming off 2 wins in their last games, and they wanted to continue their hot streak, which they did, to be honest.
So RSL came out, got a penalty early, but unfortunately Albert Rusnak had it saved by the Portland goalkeeper. And then the 2 main men for Portland came out, Sebastian Blanco and Diego Valeri. 2 goals to give them a 2-1 win over RSL, to give them their 3rd win in a row. And man, it finally looks like the 2018 MLS Cup finalists have finally steadied that ship. But alright guys, there you have it. Make sure you're leaving your comments down below so we can feature you in next week's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. It means the world to us. If you can't get enough of us, you can follow us on all of our socials at Trebl Soccer.
And please make sure to check out our new redesigned website at www.treblesoccer.com. We post new blogs up there almost every day, so please make sure to check it out.
But that's enough from us, guys. We'll catch you next week. Peace.